Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this evening's meeting of the Dudley Planning Board, the November 13th meeting of the Dudley Planning Board. At this time, I want to remind everyone that this meeting is being recorded and ask everyone to stand.
December 11th.
Oh, I'm sorry. The December 11th meeting of the Dudley Planning Board. I already have my book open to the minutes. At this time, I would ask everyone to join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. First item on the agenda is approval of minutes from the November 13th meeting.
Mr. Chairman, I had the pleasure of reading the very well-documented minutes, and I would like to make a motion that we accept them as presented.
Okay, we have a motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
To Mr. Edmondson's point, they are well documented.
Exactly,
Those
yeah.
are very good.
I couldn't
Yeah,
agree
she's on
more.
top of everything.
She is Johnny on the spot.
Copies to sign off on?
You got one there?
Yeah, so we can just pass it around.
I need two.
2 copies.
Oops.
I got it.
You can just open this one. Yeah, what do you got?
Oh, I brought my,
Got one?
yeah. I just forgot to take it out. Usually I take it out before the meeting starts.
I bought a new pen, hoping it would write my signature a little bit better, but it's not working.
Oh, there it is.
Where is it? Just started, just a few minutes.
All right. Next item on the agenda is the continuation of the discussion for the alternate position on the Dudley Planning Board. Last time we spoke about this, we had two individuals that had come forward with interest in the position. Do you have any more discussion, or do we want to move right to nominations at this point? Seeing no discussion, the chair will entertain a motion of a nomination for the alternate. We had Mr. Bill LePage and Mr. Thomas Janacki as applicants.
Mr. Chairman, I would move that we offer the position to Mr. LePage.
All right, we have a nomination for Mr. LePage. Do we need to have a second on that and then vote for it?
I
Is
think
that,
we do.
is that the process? Mr. Horn, I defer to you, you're an experienced,
Yeah, I think you need a second
and then we vote. Okay. All right, we have a, one nomination for Mr. LePage. Does anyone want to second that nomination?
Fails for lack of a second.
I'll second it.
Oh, there is a second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor of appointing Mr. Bill LePage as an alternate member of the Dudley Planning Board, say aye.
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 Aye. Fails.
Are you guys abstaining, yeas or nays?
I'm still thinking.
Okay, all right, yeah.
I know that we've sat enough a long time on this one, but like, as
If
you
we
said.
need, if we need to say nay, I'll say nay.
Okay. All right, we have two, I hate to put you on the spot, Dan, basically it's a 2-2 tie.
This is exactly what I didn't want. I should have opened my mouth first. Yeah, this is tough because they're both, again, I serve with both of them. They're both very good individuals. They make great members of the board. I wasn't sure how the support would go. I seconded the motion, so I feel that I kind of almost have to now vote in accordance with, so I will vote yes.
Okay.
Reluctantly, not because I'm against Mr. LePage, but just because I think both of them are very fine individuals who'll make great members.
Duly noted. All right, so we have a vote 3, so the motion carries. Mr. LePage will be appointed as the alternate to the Dudley Planning Board. Item 3 on the agenda, grant discussion. I was going to defer to Mr. Clark, since he was the one who was really involved with following up with what happened with the grant proposal, why it was rejected, or why we didn't get the grant.
Yes, well, we were notified, I believe, notifications. I want to make sure I have the correct date here.
And this is for the master plan?
Yeah,
Yes,
sorry, I should have said that. I should have made it clear.
This is the application that was largely put together, thank you, from CMRPC. One of the things I remember as being a concern as we were looking at making an application is the timeliness of ours. We were just under the wire. The folks who reviewed it did compliment the application in several regards. We received, actually it's dated October 18th, where it was sent out that we had not been approved for it. And a couple of things that I note in detail here, if you bear with me a second. They noted that they had received 97 applicants in total, ours being one. They had totaled a request of $9 million. They had $3.2 million available. So there were probably, and not undoubtedly, more disappointed applicants than there were those who were successful. They did compliment us in terms of our first effort at this. Interestingly enough, there was a debrief that I was a part of, along with Dominique Dutremble, who you might remember from CRPC. And the debrief was with the Executive Office of Housing and Livable Communities, rather. Again, Executive Office of Housing and Livable Communities.
Never heard of it.
You are in good stead, because it only came into existence in 2023.
Oh,
Yeah, it was known as DHCD before.
I'm sorry, what?
DHCD, which is the Department of Housing and
Community development.
Community
Oh,
Development.
okay. I think
Yeah,
I have
they
heard of that,
Yeah,
yeah.
they renamed it to EOHLC.
Oh, so-
Which is a mouthful.
Okay.
Yeah, and if you go to the website, I'm not quite clear, looking at their website, how this application falls into their jurisdiction.
I'm kind of.
I mean, this is a master plan.
Is it 'cause
They seem to be
yeah.
more focused on housing
Housing.
specifically.
So I think it's because it was like, it was housing and urban development, and housing and urban development always go together. That's what my assumption would be.
All right.
So
Well,
that's why it was put into one pocket, but also when we were doing other one-stop applications, certain communities fell under different departments, like rural communities fell under different pocket of money and so on and so forth.
Well, that may well be.
Maybe that's why.
And I don't doubt
Yeah.
it in terms of how the bureaucracy lines itself up. The deficiency, as they saw it in our application, was Mr. Scanlon had included reference to the sewer moratorium in town. Honestly, I'm not quite sure how that relates to our application for monies to support the master plan, but be that as it may, it was included. And that was seen as, I guess, somehow limiting housing opportunities in the town of Dudley. And we fell to the wayside. Again, the connections seem tenuous at best.
Yeah.
A master plan and a sewer moratorium, not a ban, a moratorium, which is something of a delay, if you will. And I'm not quite honestly, if Mr. Scanlon were here tonight, one of my questions to him would be, why did that go in with our application? It seemed unrelated as far as I could determine, and there's nothing, I'm looking at the application form as it appears and as was presented, and there's nothing in there to indicate that. It was part of a narrative that was set separately.
That's interesting.
The other thing that,
Maybe they asked for it.
I'm sorry?
Maybe they asked for clarification.
Well, there's nothing in here that
Sent
would
separately?
indicate there was need for clarification, but in any event,
Maybe he felt, maybe there was a good reason for him to disclose
there
it.
may have been, and he not being here will probably not know. One thing, unfortunately, I do know, and if you look at the narrative, and I believe I tried to send these documents to everyone, if you didn't get them, let me know and I will. One of the things that's mentioned in here in terms of the project contact is William Scanlon, And Mr. Scanlon's qualifications and experience are noted specifically in the narrative. Now, we don't have to look very far to realize that Mr. Scanlon's no longer with us. So I don't know where we go in terms of the next step as far as this is concerned, because certainly we would look to make another application. But honestly, I think we're kind of deficient in that we haven't a full-time planner.
Yeah.
There's a person in place. And that person obviously would be the focal point or the point of contact if we went forward or were looking to go forward. And again, in the narrative, they speak glowingly of Mr. Scanlon's qualifications, which unfortunately we no longer have access to.
Yep.
The recommendation also, this is from Dominique, is that we establish a steering committee, and she suggests that we get into some pre-planning community engagement. Next, our application would be late April and early June. So we have some time. Now, if the hiring process...
2025?
2025, yeah.
Oh.
Well, 2024 is a few weeks away.
I was thinking it was more like complete streets where, like, you know, if you don't get it that year, you kind of...
I think it's like a revolving
Yeah.
Yeah.
fund, right?
Yeah, it goes revolving, yeah,
And then
so,
it would be subject again to how many applicants and how much
Right.
money and what our application is seen as. At some point, it looks like we would have to address the issue with regards to the moratorium
yeah. I
in
think
an
the moratorium-
application.
Did I understand that correctly, that our application that was denied this year will get put back in the queue for next year?
No, I don't believe so. I
We
think
would
it-
have to
We have to make a whole new
Maybe that's not
application.
over.
New
Yeah.
application, that's what I
But the
thought.
Yeah.
best part is, since we already have basically a lot of the material done, we can just, what I've heard from this is because we didn't have a community as well, like a master plan community all set up to go and things along that line, because the application was kind of put in last minute. So once I think all of those things are all set, it would set Dudley apart from other communities.
Right.
Yeah.
And those, thank you, Dominique does mention those specifically. And of course, again, ours was a last-minute application as it went in anyway. So again, given the fact that it was the last minute, it didn't really surprise me a whole lot that it wasn't accepted because we were under the wire. And CMRPC, to their credit, I think put forth a very good application, as was noted by the two folks who did the debrief. And again, there were those questions. And the big issue, I guess, would be still dealing with the moratorium issue. Now that it's out of the box, somehow that needs to be, I guess we have to show them some indication that that is being addressed in some way, shape, or
So
form,
maybe-
or feeling that it can't be done.
Maybe we can probably, because I have to reach out to Bill anyway, so maybe I could reach out to Bill and see what is going on with the moratorium issue and why that was put in, and then maybe get some brief on that. so
Well,
that
is
we-
it,
No, Bill's not
we
gonna-
need to reach
yeah.
out to the sewer and water people? Is-
Reach out to sewer and water.
That's who's driving that bus, so
Okay.
that's who we needed. We would need an answer from the sewer commission. I would probably I would suggest that we send a letter to the sewer commissioners, not to any one person, but to the sewer commissioners. That way,
The board.
the board, exactly.
We're looking for a reason why there's a moratorium?
Well, they can give us that if they want, but I mean, we pretty much, well, I for one know why.
I know why too,
Yeah.
the interceptor.
So it's, the interceptor, but there was talk of a project that was gonna be undertaken to redo that part of the line down there on, it's either Prospect Street or Progress Ave, I forget which, down there.
Probably progress if it
But-
goes through the woods there.
Where, that one, it goes,
Maybe they could just give us, maybe they could just outline the reason for the moratorium and then their expected,
Yeah, expected.
expectations on when they could get the,
when the issue will be resolved.
right.
I think another point needs to be made too, is that this does not affect Dudley as a whole. You know, that this is a certain area or part of Dudley, if you will. And in fact, there are many residences or areas in Dudley where there is no sewer or water issue because there is no sewer or water.
Right.
So, you know, that did not or does not stop everything in terms of the town of Dudley. And I think they might have read more into that perhaps.
Right.
Obviously, I'm taking liberties with what I think they might have understood, but it seemed that became kind of an overwhelming issue as opposed to what in fact is a part of the town and not the whole town.
Right, I think that could be explained in the next
Should,
submission.
yeah.
That, you know, Dudley is a community with only, I believe, 1,500 water and sewer users.
Mhm.
And, you know, we have a moratorium on one section of town that would, you know,
It doesn't shut us down.
no, and you can basically, we can map it out and say like, you know, if Dudley's 5 square miles of area, we've got a moratorium on 1 square mile, that's not a, you know, 20% is not putting us out of the development business.
Right.
Well, you know, finally, in summary, I would say it's a learning process. We were under the wire. We looked pretty good, except for one issue, if you will, effectively.
Yeah, we'll
We've
look
got
better
some
next
guidance
time.
in terms of, I'm sorry?
We'll look better next time around.
Yeah, well, that's the goal, certainly.
Yeah.
And there are a couple of things that have been noted as things that we want to move forward with, and hopefully 2025 will get us over the hump.
And I think, just to add in, I think we were talking about having a master plan community, and I think we need to get the description in and make sure we're ahead of that too, so that we have the community all set for the application as well.
I thought we did take a vote to
We did, but
establish that
and I think,
that committee?
yeah, I think Olivia was going to, enforce that community, or committee, but I will check in on that to see what's going on.
Right,
Yeah.
I think, Mr. Clark, you volunteered to be on it?
I
from the
believe I
planning
did,
board?
yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we'll all connect with that from the side of this to see.
And I guess we would want to go on the website and try to recruit members. And of course, we do have as a reference the earlier, the 2000
And I know that-
master plan, to see if anyone is still there.
There, and then I know there was a description that was set for it too, which I don't know if that was posted or not, so I will check it on that.
All right, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we tried, we got close, but again, you know, 97 and 9 million, those are numbers that are tough to deal with in any event.
All right. Well, thank you for following up with that, Mr. Clark.
Well, thank you.
Okay, next item on the agenda is the A&R discussion. I'll make this quick. We ended up receiving an email from the Assistant Town Administrator informing us that they were allowing me as chair to reach out directly to Town Council. So I have since done that, and this was, I sent that letter out to Town Council right before Thanksgiving. And right after Thanksgiving, I did get a reply, just an initial reply, where she let me know that she received it and that they would be looking into it. But obviously, they didn't have anything ready to go for tonight's meeting. But I'm hopeful that I will have information and some clarification on exactly what rules we may or may not want to change, and procedures we might want to put down on paper, so to speak.
Just a note on
For
that,
A&Rs.
if I
Oh,
may,
that's
Mr.
right.
Chairman, I was part of a webinar, and it was a Barbara St. Andre, who I believe they mentioned is nearly 40 years as a practicing attorney, and had worked and been associated with CMRPC in the past. And one of the things of the discussion was the A&Rs. I did ask a specific question with regards to our asking about property taxes. The response was that she did not feel that that was appropriate. Thought it may be more appropriate if we were looking at a preliminary or definitive plan as opposed to an A&R. It sounded like, from what I got out of that, frankly, is the key issues are frontage and vital access, so-called. And we can ask for other things, but I think we're on shaky ground should we require the other things that we have on our checklist.
Yeah. Well, once we get that response.
We'll see what the town,
Yeah.
and she did mention too, referring to town council would probably be the best way of resolving the issue or the concern, so.
Okay.
It's interesting.
Excellent. All right, now on to standard business. I'm gonna take a wild guess. Nothing new on Pierpont Estates?
Yes, there is.
There is? Oh, all right. Okay.
Tony ended up coming, who I believe is the developer, and he is looking to close off and was wondering what is the process, because there's some escrow money that is going on with it, and he was talking about some sort of select board meeting, but I said I will get back to him after I get more clarity on that process, because he's trying to close off on that development, so that,
Is there an as-built for that yet?
Not that I'm aware of.
I'm surprised he's not here.
We need
So he's
it.
looking to
He
bring it
came
to
over, I have his
acceptance?
phone number, he's really urgent to close everything off to get his escrow money.
Yeah.
So he's gonna need an as-built, and then we can send the town engineer back out there, right, to do
Yep.
the last final looky-loo
Inspection. yeah.
inspection?
Can't we
and then
do that
after-
before the as-built?
We could.
Yeah, well, we could.
Can we what?
Can't we send out graves before the as-built is done?
Yeah, we can.
Sure.
I can talk to Tony about that and then, send out graves.
Ask Mr. Sakara
Okay,
if he is 100% confident that he has everything completed,
okay,
then we will send the town engineer out
okay,
to review it. And if the town engineer says we're good to go, then he can do his as-built,
mm-hmm,
and then submit his as-built. And then at that point, we refer it to selectmen, right? For
Yeah.
Yeah, he has to fill out the paperwork for acceptance, but yeah,
Right.
then it goes to the Board of Selectmen.
Right.
Actually, eventually to the town meeting.
Right.
Now, there's gonna be a town meeting in February,
he wants,
February 11th.
I think.
I don't
it's-
think he's gonna get on that.
He wants to get
Well,
on
I
that one.
think, no, they were gonna leave the warrant open until, I forget the specific date, but that might be too soon for him.
It's either spring or fall, you can't get accepted in a super special town meeting like that.
Doesn't matter, he can't, there's no way.
He-
He'd have to have
he-
graves would have to
He
go out
really
there
wants to
and
get
do-
onto that February town meeting.
That's
I
a,
don't think.
Well, there's a date too that he's gotta look at to submit all this stuff before the spring town meeting.
Yeah, I said
That would be
maybe
May,
that,
right?
yeah.
I
so-
think it's a date
I
to
think for,
submit
I
it.
think for our typical spring meeting, which is usually in May, right?
Mhm.
You have to have all your paperwork in by the end of January.
Yeah. like
Okay.
oh, really?
February
Yes.
1st.
Oh,
Okay, so
Oh.
I'll give him a call tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh, he's
Yeah.
gonna
He
have
knows
to.
that.
I'll give him a call tomorrow to see if he's 100% sure and if he's confident
That
with that.
much
If so,
in
then we can
advance.
send over graves. to take
but he
a look
doesn't
at.
have to have the as-built done by
More
January
money
1st, right?
that we don't need.
It's just,
By, the-
it's just.
by,
his-
by
his-
January
yeah.
30th. You have to have all the paperwork to the town, the way I remember the bylaw is you have to have all the paperwork to the town by the end of January.
Including the as-built.
Everything.
Oh,
As-built too, yeah.
Well,
That's gonna be fun. Okay,
yes.
sounds good.
okay,
Good luck to him.
all right.
He came over. I was like, okay.
But that wouldn't necessarily put him on the agenda for the February meeting. If February is a special meeting, he
Right,
won't
he
get.
can't go on the
he
February
won't-
meeting.
He won't get on the agenda until May.
Until May. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, he has to get it approved in either the spring or the fall. It can't be in a
Right.
special meeting.
Right. Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah.
Okay,
I didn't know we were having a meeting in February.
Neither did I.
Country View Estates, Eisenhower Drive.
No, Nothing.
Okay, so right now it's
Waiting.
all quiet.
Yep.
We're waiting, okay.
Until the snow falls.
Well, we've already had one of those.
All right, Lions Estates.
Haven't heard anything.
I jumped
Well-
out there today.
Did you? Okay, because I was gonna say, I thought we decided that we wanted the engineer to take another look.
Yeah, it was like, there was two different lots that were flooding like a river in the street.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
And then there was another one down the street. There was two different ones on the left, I think is number 9 and 7, and then a little bit down the street, 14 maybe, with there's a big excavator in their yard. It's just a river flowing right into the street, going around the catch basins. It's only the binder course, I assume, because it.
Catch
if it-
basins are higher, right?
Yeah,
And they didn't, on that subdivision, they didn't put any berming in when they. did
yeah, there's no
that, so
berms
it's
at all,
it
just the
flows
places with
across the
grass
road,
or.
it keeps
Yeah.
going.
They get a lot of runoff without a serious rainstorm. You get a lot of runoff on that. Today was the worst case.
So, I can't remember now. Was it that we wanted the engineer to go out there, or was it just that we wanted him to come in and give us an update on where he stands? He's gotta be close.
Yeah, but it
I
wasn't
thought we were
much
asking
there.
him to come in.
I think that's what, I think you're right, Dan. I think that's what it was. So did anyone ask?
Mr. Levine.
Mr. Vane.
Yeah, Mr. Ravane.
Mr. Ravane, okay.
Yeah, okay, so. All right, well, I know you were out, so.
Yeah.
Just,
I will reach out to him.
Okay.
See. Okay. Yeah.
good.
I think the last correspondence I had was in May, not May, November, so I'll reach out to him again to see what's going on with that.
Okay.
Or,
Oh, so you did talk to Mr. Ravane in November?
no, I talked with him before the town meeting sorry, the planning board meeting for November.
Oh,
So, nah, because I fell sick and everything.
what did he say?
Well, when I talked with the engineer said that they're trying to get in hold of the developer. So it was just a conversation of like what was going on, and then I think one of the engineers wasn't there. Like the person that was, I think, head engineer, he wasn't working for them anymore.
Yeah.
So they ended up directing me to some other engineer. So I have to see who's gonna be the point person. So that's kind of what's going on with that.
So you don't know who his engineer is now, is that?
Now I don't know who the engineer is, because
Okay.
the person that was, I guess the project manager, he's not in the firm anymore. That's what's going on. So I did not
Okay.
follow up after that to see what's going on. My apologies.
Okay. Sophie's Way?
I have a question on Sophie's Way.
Okay, I will recuse myself from the meeting.
We had a covenant in place for that, and that covenant addressed the snow removal. Do we have something in place to address snow removal now that we don't have a covenant?
I think we'll have to address the question to Mr. Wetruba,
It's not.
It's a-
not available at the moment.
It's a private way, so the snow removal is up to the homeowners or the owners of the current owners of the lots.
Right, yeah, they don't have an HOA or anything too, though.
But it's still up to the homeowners or the owners of the lots. I mean, if the homes are not completed and
Yeah, I
and the
understand that.
developers own it, then it's up to the developer to remove the snow.
So it would be up to Wetruba to remove the snow until everyone's in.
Not necessarily.
No.
If he doesn't own the street, the people who bought the lots technically own the street.
Yeah, true, I guess so, that makes sense. They don't have
It's
up
part
to
of their
half
deed.
it. Yeah,
When you buy the property, it's part of your deed that you're gonna forever maintain that street.
and one of our conditions was a homeowners association fee or something like that, but they don't have anything like
But they
that.
have to,
Or they don't have
that typically
homeowners.
doesn't get set up until all the homes are constructed and the people who purchase the homes do that on their own.
So it's after everything?
Yeah.
Is that satisfactory, Mr. Dugan?
Yeah, I was just wondering, like, if there's a way to, if there's
All right.
something in charge of that.
As far as I know, there's nobody living there yet, so the street,
There's
if the
someone
street,
living there.
Yeah, I
There's
think
one
there may
house.
be.
is one house already
I
occupied?
think so.
Okay, so then they're gonna have to be plowing themselves out until,
Well, it depends where the house is. If it's at the front of the street,
yeah.
I hope it's in the front of the street.
They got a very long driveway.
Hopefully no snow.
Yeah, I mean, they're gonna have to take care of it until the homeowners association is established,
Right.
because right now, they're only one homeowner.
Well, I know what the covenant was up until, a certain point. The developer was gonna be doing it, so.
That's typically how it works. It's gonna be the same way for the people who are living in Country Club Estates.
Yep.
I mean, the
they're all in,
developer
aren't they?
is.
There is a formal homeowners.
Right, and the
association.
people that all moved there all bought into that, so they're paying for their snow removal.
Mhm, a monthly fee.
Right.
Well, thank you, Mr. Horn, for the clarification. Mr. Wetruba has yet to rejoin us. We want to move on to inspections and actions associated with site plans.
Sure.
All right, Legacy Landing, Country Club Acres.
No updates on that one.
We gave them an extension. I thought it was just December. Is it December of this year?
We did give them an extension.
I'm sorry?
I haven't heard anything back from them.
No. They've put up signs.
You're right, though. I think it was
Private
until
community. And one of the things that we had, maybe I should recuse myself because I am in a butter. I will step aside. We're talking about Legacy Landing now, Mr. Wetruba.
Oh, thanks.
So I'm moving out. They have put up signs indicating 15-mile-an-hour speed limit, so on and so forth, and no trespassing. Now, there is a trail that was part of the agreement, part of the plan, and there are actually it looks like two parking spaces at one end, very near the church parking lot. So I'm not sure how that squares with the no trespassing. Because no trespassing, I think, would discourage people from actually entering, parking there, and using or utilizing that trail, which I have taken or done many, many times.
Yeah, it's a public-
And there was supposed to, I thought, as I recall, some sort of device, electronic or otherwise, that was going to restrict access It's used to have some kind of a key fob or something in order to get onto the property, to somehow limit the public access to it as it is a private way. And I haven't seen anything that's even approximates that, nor is a fence that was supposed to be in place seemingly underway, and I believe some landscaping that's deficient. I believe we gave them an extension to December. And I'm thinking it was December of this year, but it may be next year. And
I thought when they came in, he asked for December, but I thought we said we would grant it give him a full year, and I thought that full year brought him up to June or July.
June or so, okay, all right, then I am corrected then, thank you.
I think we all estimated that there was no way he was gonna finish it before winter.
Well, that seems to be the case. So if it's extended through June, then I stand corrected, thank you.
I had a quick question regarding that fence. Are you talking about the fence up near Airport Road?
Yes, it would be coming off of Airport Road.
Okay, all right.
There is in the plan, there is a fence.
Yeah, I remember that.
And there was a gentleman here from, I believe, the number 19 at the far, at the furthest out towards
Right.
the Dudley Hill Road. And he was thinking that he was entitled to a fence
I remember,
and/or
that's why I was
shrubbery or
asking
something,
which
yeah.
fence because I think that one we had determined that wasn't on the plan. That was
Yes.
something that his
And
agent had told him that.
just as an aside, it looks like that gentleman had some issues with the construction of the property that he was living in, the floors particularly, and it would appear that the floors have been replaced. So he's better off perhaps today than he was when he approached us as a board last time.
That's good.
Mr. Chairman, could I ask that we ask the planner if she could get us an update on the dates for Lions Estates and also for Legacy Landing for our next meeting, just to let us know when
they expire?
When the approvals expire. So I think it would be good to know for Lions Estates.
Lions
and
Estates
also
and-
Legacy Landing.
For, Legacy Landing, and actually, while we're at it, how about that one, what's that one called on Jesse Road?
Oh,
Because it's not on our list, so we kind of forget about it,
right.
but that one was when we extended it,
Yeah.
And I
Is it
gotta take-
Jesse's
Jesse
Road?
Road.
Jesssie.
What's that?
I thought it was called Jesse Road for its
It might
Jesse
be.
Road subdivision. or something like
Jesse.
that.
Oh, I thought it had some kind of name, like
So Legacy Landing.
something
West.
acres.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
whatever that is on Jesse Road by name, but I think it indicated that the last extension was the last extension.
And then we actually granted another. What happened was, when I was on the board previously, we said, this is gonna be the last one, we gave the extension. Then I left, and then he came before the board again,
We
and I
gave
was
another
off,
one?
and you guys gave him another one.
All right, well,
What do you
See,
think?
I thought we didn't give an extension because there was issues about, was it the stormwater or?
He
was-
didn't get sewer permits,
Sewer.
that's why
Sewer
he
permits,
can't
right.
go forward.
Right.
Right.
So I think he had a year of extension from us, but he didn't get sewer permits, so I think he's kinda stuck.
He's stuck in the moratorium that we were
Yeah.
talking about earlier.
Exactly.
we gave him an extension.
Exactly.
Which is at
Water-
some point going to expire.
Right, and water and sewer took the permits away.
Right, so it all went nowhere anyway.
Right.
But they also said that as far as how he's going to tie in was gonna change.
So it sounds like he needs to come back at some point in time and start all over.
That's what I'm thinking.
I thought we gave him an extension for this water problem, or sewer
No.
problem.
Yeah.
No, it was,
Pretty
no,
sure it
he
was.
came in and he said,
We gave it to him before that.
Yeah, I remember that.
No.
Like when he first bought it, right? He gave him the extension because he just first bought it. It was like the first time he owned the subdivision. And then he came back
I
like a
think
year
we
later.
actually gave the extension to the previous owner.
right,
Because
that's what it was. I
they
remember now.
came in
He
and
came
asked-
in and he said he wanted an extension. We were kinda like not too keen on it, and then he was like, but I have a buyer. And that was the
Right.
whole thing. The idea was, okay, we'll do it, cause
Yeah. It
you've
was-
got a buyer.
It was pre-approved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Time is up.
Okay, so Jesse's Road, Legacy Landing,
So,
and Lions
yeah,
Estate.
Three properties to look at.
Sounds good.
Okay, so we were talking about Legacy Landing.
Solar,
Anything regarding SEP Solar on Oxford Ave?
haven't heard anything.
Okay.
Just grass there.
What's it?
AD&D, I saw someone parking in that garage.
Really?
Somebody Using that garage, yeah, there was a car in there the other day. No, not a car, a truck, I mean.
Oh.
It's pretty active, actually, this whole week, I've been seeing people out there. Something was definitely in the garage.
All right, but we still don't have any
Maybe we can check
information.
with the building inspector, see if he issued that permit. Or signed off on the permit or whatever
Right,
for the building.
so you don't think it was somebody working in there doing something? You
No, the
think
garage,
it was?
it was, he was in there and it was closed. The garage was closed, so the car was parked, backed in. It's like a truck.
Okay,
You could barely tell.
yeah. I don't know, what's the equivalent of an occupancy permit when it comes to a commercial building?
Certificate of occupancy.
Yeah.
No, that sounds almost like an. So, yeah, so if they don't have one of those, then they shouldn't be parking anything in there, correct?
Yeah, so we should see if they have a certificate.
Well, they can't use the building. I don't know if if they can park there or not. That'd be something different.
Yeah,
But the building can't be occupied.
so how do we want to frame this? Maybe we should, why don't you ask the building inspector
What's going on?
if he is aware
Yeah,
that there are vehicles apparently being parked in that building?
yep, okay.
Okay. A, B, and D. Stevens Mill, does anybody else have anything regarding that?
Well, the selectmen did announce at
Yeah, I
the
was gonna-
last meeting that they were gonna be meeting with the principals. I don't know when. I don't know whether we'd like to be a part of that meeting as a board, or how we'd go about inviting ourselves.
Yep, I saw the same thing you did, Richard, and then he also mentioned that at some point they would have a public update too, so we might want to just wait
Defer to the
on
public.
that. I think we pretty much, interest rates is still the story there, I think, so,
Well, I guess it would be up to us to individually, watch the agendas for the Board of Selectmen meeting to see when that shows up. And if we were interested, to avail ourselves of the opportunity to be in at that meeting. But it is interesting that at least there's a conversation anyway,
right.
about to be sometime.
Well, I think a lot of people are getting anxious.
Oh, yes.
They want to see something happen over there, so, goes without saying. Next up, we have the solar project at the landfill. Anything there?
Nothing there.
Okay, really can't do too much this time of year, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm
Things
thinking.
up. The fences are up.
All right, yeah,
I was just there today. I went down
Installed
there.
all the transformers, yeah, I go every week and all the
Oh.
And that whole
transformers.
fence is all the way around now.
Yeah.
great,
So I would say they're close to being done.
Mhm.
okay.
So maybe I'll check in with them to see what's going on.
Oh, I don't know if that one's necessary,
Okay, nope, okay.
unless somebody else thinks it is. I mean, as long as we see stuff happening there, that's what we want to see, right?
It looks done. I mean, looks
Moving.
like it's probably like an electrical connection type of thing.
Then
Dudley Housing Authority, that parking lot,
it's looking like it's closed off. We have received a letter from them.
okay.
I believe, is her name Jill? The accountant, but that there is, they went over their escrow, so she will let me know. So maybe for like the next meeting, she'll be sending them an invoice that we would have to approve, but it looks like they're all set to go, they're done with the project.
All right, well, this is the old one, right?
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, this is the old one, yeah, this is what
Yeah.
yeah.
So you're saying that you've received correspondence since then that they're,
Yeah, I received the correspondence by mail,
oh, okay.
same thing.
What's that dated?
November 20th.
Oh,
This,
and what'd they say they did?
Grass.
Yeah, they put grass in.
Okay,
Said that the grass wasn't growing on Quinn's engineering report that was emailed to us.
right, so I'm wondering,
Plant grass in November. then.
that's why I'm wondering, it's like,
That's what I said too.
Back in August, September.
roll it out.
It was planted when you're supposed to plant it.
Just not doing it.
Just never watered it.
So maybe we
though.
gotta wait till
Drought.
the springtime for the grass.
Quinn Engineering letter dated the 15th says that the grass is not, it's sparse or lacking, and now on the 20th, it's in?
This is something that should have been pretty simple. I don't know how it managed to find its way to
Yeah, this was just
pictures
what?
we
This was
see
just
here.
repairing a parking lot.
Right, I mean,
Now they're over budget, so
Okay.
we'll have to look at that one too.
All right, anything on the planner's plate?
I do not have anything.
Okay, great. Moving on to comments from the planning board.
Got nothing.
Just to reiterate, I think Mr. Edmondson's comments earlier, we were very fortunate in terms of our alternate member that we had, too. Very well qualified and experienced gentlemen who are interested. And hopefully, the applicant who wasn't selected will continue his interest and maybe find opportunities in other boards. And as we're looking forward to perhaps forming a committee for the master plan, that certainly would be up for consideration.
Okay. All right, so I said, all right, so I was told by the town administrator that he had received an email from the editor of the Webster Times. Apparently, the editor was upset about some emails that were going back and forth. And, I mean, I obviously understand you have freedom of speech, you can say whatever you want, for the most part. At the end of the day, you're the one who's gonna have to deal with how it reflects on you as a person. That being said, I just wanna make a blanket statement. As planning board members, we have to make sure you do not use your government email address, the Town of Dudley email address that's issued to us as planning board members, for any correspondence in which it doesn't directly involve the planning board, and especially if it's gonna be CC'd to a member of the Stonebridge Press. Because that ruffled some feathers. I'm not gonna go into detail. It doesn't need to be reiterated here, what was said. But needless to say, I said I would address it. As far as I'm concerned, that person is free to say whatever they want, whenever they want. It's the freedom of speech. However, I would just caution them, use your personal email address if you're gonna send that kind of correspondence, or any correspondence that does not directly relate to the Dudley Planning Board. There, I've said it. And then last thing I wanted to say was, well, we're not gonna meet again till January, so everybody, I hope you have a safe and happy and Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. And if there's,
The 8th,
What is it?
The
The
8th?
second-
January 8th.
Is that the
January
second
8th?
Wednesday?
Yep.
Second Wednesday? Okay. Seems early.
okay, right. So,
First.
to Mr. Horn's point, set other business, set the next meeting, January 8th? Is that correct?
That's correct, yep.
That is correct, okay.
Tuesday, Wednesday.
Does that work for everybody?
Yeah.
All right, great. So next meeting, January 8th, 2025.
Wow.
Gonna have to get used to writing that on our checks and everything else.
And the dates.
Okay, and next we have approval of consultant vouchers, payment of bills. We got an invoice that slipped through the cracks.
Yes, no, so
Well, okay.
Or on the phone was saying it's Sophie's Ways invoice. My apologies, I put it in as Sophie's Ways invoice, but it's supposed to be for Graves Engineering, which was put into your binders. And then Richard ended up giving me an invoice before the meeting. So there's 2 invoices that need to be paid.
Okay.
So my apologies on that miscommunication
Okay.
with brain fog that was going on.
All right, so they're
I am so sorry.
under
Invoices.
invoices.
They're under invoices, so I apologize.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we instruct the town planner to pay the invoice for a total of $35 that was paid to Citizens Planners Training Collaborative for the introduction to subdivision control law and A&Rs. That was a seminar that Mr. Clark attended. So we could
Okay,
get-
we have a
get them
motion?
reimbursed.
Do we have a
Second.
second? All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
And Mr. Clark abstains.
And then the other invoice we have, Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion. It's to Graves Engineering, and it's for a total of $983.68.
Okay, we have a motion. We have a second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Abstain.
Okay, I was gonna ask if that's yours.
I know the motion has already passed, Mr. Chairman. I just noticed that here, Construction administration, telephone call from developer. Check plans are regarding pipes for drainage swale at 0.25 hours, which would be what does that equate to?
15 minutes.
15 minutes.
15 minutes, $163 rate, and we're paying $40.75 for that.
Oh, we're not paying it. I believe the applicant's paying
The
that
applicant's
one.
paying it. But
Don't you worry, Mr. Clark.
it just speaks to the fact that there is nothing free any longer. I mean, the phone
That's a
conversation.
very
And I'm
expensive
sure
phone
that-
call.
I
That's what
suspect
that college education gets you.
I suspect that that's a rounded number, that 15 minutes, because each of them were 15 minutes in duration. That's pretty tight timekeeping.
Developer can talk.
Yes.
Okay.
Very
Quite
expensive
well
phone
made.
call.
Motion to adjourn.
So my apologies on the invoices.
Yeah, let's see, so we got,
Get a motion? Mr. Chairman, if it's in order, I'd make a motion that we adjourn for the year.
well, we didn't have any other correspondence. Okay, all right then. So, yeah, we have a motion,
Second.
a second. All those in favor?
Aye. And
And that's a
again,
wrap
Merry
for
Christmas, Happy
2024.
Hanukkah,